They were married for 72 years.
I know. When you put those numbers together, I mean, we feel we're coming up on, we're really close to 30 years of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And we sit and look at each other and we're like, wow.
Time went by like that.
And I've told her, like, we've been together
longer than we've been alive.
Right. We've been together longer than we have been apart. Right. And that 30 years, though it feels as if it just happened yesterday, it's like I vaguely remember life without you.
As you should.
No, but when even with that number, as big as that number is to us, when you say 72 years of marriage, mm-hmm. we're talking about, okay, if you subtract our 30 years, they still have 42 years of marriage.
Yeah. They got married. I mean, she was 18 when they got married. He was a college student.
That is wild to me. The average, I mean, let's put that into context.
Right.
The average lifespan for men, I think women is like 76 years. For men is 72 years.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
I'm Lovey. And we want to welcome everybody back to the podcast. You've got a lot of choices. You could be doing a lot of different things, but you've chosen to at least take us either on the ride, in the garden, on your walk, whatever it may be. And we're truly appreciative. Now, if you're new to the podcast.
So here's a little story about us. Who said that? I feel like Slick Rick. So here's a little story about us. We've been married for almost 30 years. We have come through some challenges. Before we got married, my ex-boyfriend barged into my house, attacked me, stabbed him in the heart. He had 2 open heart surgeries. That was 4 months after we met because we got engaged very early. 4 years after we got married, I told him that, can I finish? I told him that I wanted a divorce for various reasons, but here we are. We didn't get divorced. We figured it out. We became the couple that we needed to be when we were looking for someone. We went through counseling, coaching, and then just trying to figure things out. So
that's us. So once upon a time, not long ago.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Anyway, so yeah, unbeknownst to us, back then in 2001, that's really when Married into Crazy was formulated, even though it wasn't official. So CRAZY is an acronym, and it stands for
compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding. Because those are the 5 things that we think,
5 pillars
that we believe that will help you actually take your relationship from wherever you are right now to that next level, whatever that may look like. And it looks different for every single one of us.
Okay.
So you can learn more about those 5 pillars and our marriage. And back to our, you can learn about, she keeps throwing me off like she's actually talking today. But you can go to the website, marriedintocrazy.com, mm-hmm. where you can learn more about our 5 pillars, how we teach, and all the other things that we do. So we layer all this on top of our training for level 1, level 2, Gottman couples therapy. We've taken those first 2. So we utilize a lot of the resources from Gottman, as well as being everyday DISC certified through Wiley. I have that particular certification. Snooks has a different certification for DISC, and I also have a third. So between the 2 of us, we have 3 different certifications when it comes to DISC. And all that really means is that from a personality index and communication, we layer all of that to give you a system and a methodology by which you're able to communicate that much better. You'll be hearing more about that when it comes to our marriage intelligence coaching platform and program that'll be launching very soon. It's really a formulated way that we've always done things, but we've really put it into a system. That way it's replicatable and you're able to really get your results all the time. So anyway, that's where we are. So go check all that out. In the meantime, I do also want to throw out there to you that as of today, the registration is open for the Married into Crazy
2027 Winter Ball and Marriage Conference.
It's going to be held in Sacramento. It's going to be a fantastic time. You'll hear more about it as we continue. We're starting early because last time we sold out, and we want to give people an opportunity to really get, in the room.
Where's our sound effects?
Yeah, with the staff out there that doesn't exist. That's where it exists. That's where it's at. So anyway, hey, so let's get into. We talk about a variety of different subjects. We talk about sometimes we bring you guests, subject matter experts, as well as other couples. So we've got people lining up right now that we're trying to do some coordinating and scheduling and get everything together. And that's the hard part. It's getting everybody on the same calendar, much like our marriage. Hard part is us always being on the same page.
Babe. Okay, so he told me before we got started, don't be long-winded at the beginning because we need to
I was setting up.
dig right in.
I was setting it up.
He's been talking for 10 minutes already.
Go back, rewind, see who's talking the most. See who's talking the most. But on top of that, but I think it's a great setup because when we're talking about being on the same page, one of the things that we had a discussion about recently, and though we're not Muslim, we have a lot of love and admiration for people across the spectrum, all across the United States. And most recently, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan,
Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, she passed away on June 26th.
Never mind the fact I was trying to finish a sentence.
Oh, go ahead.
But go ahead. No, but I was just saying that he was honoring his wife who had passed.
I know, but
I didn't get that out.
You didn't, because I wanted to say that. I wanted to talk about this. I don't know why. I'm be very honest with you. When I saw that that she passed away, like Lovey said, we're not Muslim, but for me, love is love. You know what I'm saying? I not just for myself, but for Lovey also. But it hit, it hit me hard, and I was just like, wow, And I don't typically. I actually was kind of just scrolling on the reels. And I never respond to various or just people I don't know. But I did make a response, and I was like, I'm so sorry for the loss, because I know that she was very important to not just to Minister Farrakhan, but for the whole nation, And I was watching a clip, and I just got emotional. And it sat with me for a couple of days, and I was like, you know what? What he said was so beautiful. He gave a tribute to her. And I wrote some of it down, what he said. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I did. So it says, he said, he thanks Allah openly and confessed openly that Lady Khadijah was the greatest gift he has ever received, except the coming of God, the raising of the messenger, and giving him life. She was the wind beneath his wings, and he hopes that every man will be gifted with a woman like Khadijah. And tears were just pouring down my eyes, it was so beautiful, and maybe it's because when I typically growing up seeing him, he was very proud, which obviously he should be, but very proud and very, he's setting folks straight or whatever. And I'm not saying that he's never been vulnerable in front of people, but that was my first time really seeing him as someone other than Minister Farrakhan. I saw him
the icon,
as,
the public figure.
I saw him as a grieving husband. I saw him as a person, a man who just lost his wife, his life partner, everything that she meant to him, But it just sat with me but the part about he just wished that every man would be gifted a wife like Khadijah. It's so beautiful. And people go through marriage, and some people, they stay in their marriages for whatever reason. And I know some people who lost their spouses and never really spoke those type of words, not publicly. And I thought that was very important. Like he said, openly, he spoke those type of words, and they never did that. So it's just like, wow, to honor the person who stood by your side. They were married for 72 years.
I know. When you put those numbers together, I mean, we feel we're we're really close to 30 years of marriage. Mm-hmm. And we sit and look at each other and we're like, wow.
Time went by like that.
And I've told her, like, we've been together longer
than we've been alive.
Right. We've been together longer than we have been apart. Right. And that 30 years, though it feels as if it just happened yesterday, it's like I vaguely remember life without you.
As you should.
No, but when even with that number, as big as that number is to us, when you say 72 years of marriage, we're talking about, okay, if you subtract our 30 years, they still have 42 years of marriage.
Yep. They got married. I mean, she was 18 when they got married. He was a college student.
That is wild to me. The average, I mean, let's put that into context.
Right.
The average lifespan for men, I'm talking about, I think women is like 76 years. For men is 72 years. The average lifespan. They were married for an entire. Now we're like, oh, we've been married forever. No, you were married for your adult life, right?
Yeah.
Some people get 20 years, 25 years, what have you, and then if you add up the multiple marriages, what have you, for people that have actually had additional marriages, it rarely will it add up to 72 years.
Yeah.
That in itself speaks volumes about the type of gratitude and love and dedication that they had, and I'm not saying it was easy.
Especially, okay, so they had 9 children and 2 passed away before she did. I don't know all of what happened with that, but I know they had 9 children. But just thinking about, like you said, marriage in itself is not an easy job, right? So think about how she had to share him with the nation
of Islam,
and not just the Nation of Islam, but with America and whoever else that he was like, let's talk about it.
This is a man that is both revered, and we even say the man, revered, but also hated. Death threats.
Yeah.
I mean, if for a lot of times, what you'll do is they'll put 2 people on opposite sides. You look at Dr. Martin Luther King on one side of the coin, and you would look at, the
Malcolm
minister,
X.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the other.
Well, Malcolm X.
Oh, Malcolm X. But then, I mean, like in contemporary times,
Okay.
when people are actually talking and comparatively speaking, you would put Malcolm on the other side, of course. But when you look at the family and having the kids and the spouse that had to go through things or whatever, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's unheard of. And so my question today is, and I think the topic really is, what does it take? I mean, what does it mean to truly honor your spouse? And I'm not talking about just the Instagram honoring, because there's a lot of that.
So there's the difference. You say the Instagram honoring, but it's like, that's the public honoring. What counts to me is how I honor you behind closed doors when I'm being my real self. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what the people outside see. It's about how I treat you behind closed doors. That's the real honoring. Because I could get out here and we could be all fake and we could be all whatever, and it'd be a whole bunch of BS. And then when we come home, we cussing at each other, we slamming doors, we ain't talking, we ain't whatever it is. The true honor is what I do privately.
It's so crazy. I remember reading.
That's how I feel anyway.
No. I remember I read one of David Goggins' books, and I can't remember which one it was, but I'm a huge fan of David Goggins, just from the type of man that he is, from the standpoint of what he's willing to endure for his goals.
That's the guy who did the 6-time whatever.
Right.
Something crazy.
Well, he's an incredible individual. Look him up, David Goggins. But he tells stories about his youth, about how his parents seemed really successful in the public eye, and they threw parties, and everyone thought his father was an upstanding man. But what the people didn't see was how his dad would beat his mother behind closed doors, and the things that drove him to be the man that he is, meaning David Goggins, was to be the antithesis of what he saw his father do. But it was the early stages of what he talked about was really, it still sticks with me, about how what was seen in public was absolutely nothing like what happened behind closed doors. And I'd like to talk about what it means to honor that. We're talking about not the Instagram, the social media, but when there's high pressure, when there's conflict, when there's challenges, difficulties, setbacks. What does it mean to honor your spouse in those times?
Mm-hmm.
Right? When it's not even really about them, but are you still willing to speak life into them when you feel like life is not going well?
Do I do that?
Sometimes. No, you do. No, you do.
Wait, why?
I'm very fortunate.
Help me.
Right. I was like, if I blink 3 times, that means come find the studio and save me.
Wow, that's cold. No, I'm just playing. I'm kidding.
No. I mean, but that's what we're here to talk about. And it's not just, Minister Farrakhan. I want us to actually we wrote down some notes, and I went through the internet and looked up different couples that came to mind. Mm-hmm. And I know that there's a lot more examples than what we're going to share today. But there's people that, and things I want to call out, like Michelle and Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. You can say what you want to say about politics, if you don't like their choices when it came to social policy or what have you. I will say this.
Talk about the man, the woman in the relationship as the Obamas, not the first lady and the president.
Right. It's, to be completely honest, let's keep it fair. Not only the Obamas, but the Bushes. I love the love that Michelle and Barack Obama have.
Which Bush?
Actually,
both Bushes?
Both Bushes.
Okay.
You got one and Laura, and you got one and, man, I can't think of the other ones. Barbara.
Good old Barb.
The Bushes, behind closed doors, from what we know and what they share, and there was nothing ever negative about that. But more than that, you can tell what a relationship looks like by the way that the spouses engage and look each other.
We see how they interact.
There's so many photos on public record of when Barbara or Laura Bush was talking or Michelle Obama was talking. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about this. And their husbands are captured in that same photo, but they're looking at their spouse admirably, just like everybody else that's in there. But you can see the love. You can see the admiration.
Right.
You could see that. And it went both ways, right? When Barack talks, you can see how Michelle looks at him, and she's like, that's my man. I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to say something. Even with the dedication, I haven't watched it yet. I've heard so many different wonderful things about when she did her dedication at the Obama library.
The library.
And she told him, you're going to have to listen to this. And he teared up, and he was going to cry. And it was like, that's the love and admiration and the honoring we're talking about. It's not about with your words and with the legacy and the flowers you give when they pass or whatever. No, it's about how are you honoring them when they have breath, with your actions, not your words, but how the presence, the energy, all that. I don't know. I mean, that's just.
Well, I hear you, and I like that you brought up the Bushes, because I don't really, I won't say I don't know anything about them, but I've heard that about their relationship like that,
and it's crazy.
Pointed out.
The elder Bush was my commander in chief when I served in the military, and I couldn't stand him because I was young and I was looking at the politics. But as I got older, and this speaks volumes. You've seen at different public forums, different things. Couples that live the life that we talk about, that we aspire to live and that we're trying to live right now. When you get with another couple, like when we hang out with Cloyce and Sheila,
the Dickersons,
because they have a marriage community as well. But when we kick it with them, there is so much fun. There's a love that is like the love between them is almost as if it's extended to us as well. Mm-hmm. And when we come together, there's like this energy, there's this aura, there's this thing that's just so much fun. And I see that when you see in public pictures and video, what have you, that when the Obamas and the Bushes come together, that they joke, they laugh. You see them like it's like they genuinely love being around each other. Or they enjoy being around each other. Mm-hmm. They're not talking politics. They're talking life. They're talking, what a great honor it is to be in the presence of another couple that love each other.
I mean, and that's one thing that we strive to do is to hang around couples that love each other like that, like how we love each other, because we've talked before about being out with couples who they fight, they get on your nerve, and it's just like, oh my God, I can't wait till this double date is over. You want to be with someone who has the same kind of energy that you have for your spouse. And granted, I promise you, we ain't always throwing up daisies over here. You know
right.
What I'm saying?
It's not unicorn farts and rainbow.
Okay, farts though.
It's a unicorn. Unicorns fart rainbows, don't they? Anyway.
I have no idea, but the fact that you use that as an analogy. But I mean, we have our differences also, just because we're married into crazy doesn't make us non-human. We still go through whatever it is that we go through, but it's the way that we respond to what we're going through. And we want to be with couples or hang out with couples who have that same type of energy. I think that's what you're talking about,
a cohesive
right?
marriage isn't necessarily where the two people agree on every single little thing.
No.
But they're able to disagree, but still maintain a level of cohesiveness and respect.
And love.
And
honor.
And remain committed to the team. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm not going to say any names, but there are some people that hold similar occupations as the Obamas and the Bushes, and I just don't get that vibe.
Okay. Anyway.
I'm not going to bring that up.
You just did, but we gonna push past it.
No, but it's different. It's different when you're in a room. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, anyway. No, but I was just talking about how you brought up about honoring you brought up about honoring the other person, not just when they've passed away, but honor them like daily, every single day, because we never know when our last day is going to be here. I never know if he's going to make it home from when he goes on a trip, or if I'm going to make it home from down the street. We just don't know. And the last thing that either of us wants is for things to be left unsaid. I've lost my uncle this year, and he and my aunt were married for over 40 something years. And Jerry and Uncle Lee were married for over 40 something years. And just like that, he was gone,
Completely unexpected. He went to the hospital, came home. 2 days later, he passed away. Same thing happened with my dad in 2018. He was in hospital. We found out very late that he had cancer, but he went to the hospital. He came home, went back because he had a procedure or whatever. That night, tell the whole story.
No, what? That night he passed away, like that. We didn't expect it,
right?
And I know it's like that for many people, but I always think about so what's next, and what was left unsaid. How was it? Were they being honored? I don't want just the last moments to be, well, I took care of him, so I realized, no, I want his whole life to be the time that we're together, him confessing his mistakes. No.
Well, but I want to double back on something that it's not easy. Just because people honor and so forth and they love each other and they go out of their way, it doesn't mean that it's like I said, it's not always, sunshine and rainbows. Okay. We'll leave the unicorn out of it. But that doesn't mean, even in their differences, talking about Michelle and Brock, even though that they were very public figures, Michelle's on record and she's very vocal about how it was hard being the first lady. There were days where not even days, there were periods where she was not a fan of her husband, not because of the politics, but because of the husband. Like, she had to share him with the nation. The girls, had to share him with their father with them. And then there was some resentment on they couldn't do the things that they wanted to do. They couldn't go and be just the family they were beforehand because of the fact that he took on this job, this role. And they made the decision together. And I'd like to point this out as well, that a part of honoring your spouse is not expecting them to shrink in your presence.
Mm-hmm. Not expecting them to become something totally different from who they, they should always remain the person that you fell in love with. Don't try to change them to be something different. That's how I feel.
Time is going to change them no matter what. Time's going to change both of you.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love how, and again, in this respect, that Michelle was a brilliant woman. And I'll even venture so far, as brilliant as many of us believe that Barack is, I think that she's the shining star, right? She's the one that or at the very minimum, equally. They're both strong, but she didn't have to wilt in order for him to shine.
Right.
And Barack never asked her to. And I think that's another way that you can honor your spouse, is that respecting their strengths and who they are and giving them the opportunity and the latitude to be who they are, and never try and put them in a box and say, oh, this is all you can be because I need to do this right now.
I agree with that. And also another part of honoring is like the gratitude. So I'm going to go back to the Farrakhan's. He was very grateful. He was honoring her. He was very grateful for her patience, for her strength, how she raised the family, how she maintained. She was a woman of women's. You know what I'm saying?
A woman of women's.
A woman of women. A woman of women. You know what I mean?
I didn't marry her for her grammar. I'm just saying.
He sure didn't. I mean, she stood with him through, like, kind of, you talk public figures. You talk about the presidents and the first ladies. Those are very hard jobs. And when your husband is being dragged through the coal for all the presidents have ever been, the first ladies, they have to stand there and they have to be there. And I say they have to be there. They really don't have to be there, but it's not they never showed entitlement, like, well, you better be here because that's your job.
Right.
Well, and you better have my back, or you better, and maybe they did in part of it, but it didn't show that.
How many of you out there right now be like, well, you know what? They're married. That's what they're supposed to do. That's taking it for granted, right? Like, you're thinking like, oh, okay, that falls underneath your job description.
Yeah, but that's entitlement.
I agree.
Gratitude and entitlement are totally very different.
And I feel like I can agree, because at one point in my life, I did think that as well. You hear a description of somebody, it's like, well, that's their job. That's the husband, or that's their job. That's the dad. That's what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. But, okay, so a certain point is, and maybe that's what they're supposed to do. But in recognizing what it costs them to do that.
That
you know
part,
what I'm saying?
That part.
Because there's a cost to everything.
And not giving lip service, but truly understanding, like, oh, the sacrifice that was involved for you to say I do to me, and then to stand by my side during all of XYZ. And it goes both ways, right? I'm not saying it's a male thing or it's a female thing, but being able to acknowledge, like, oh, okay, acknowledgement should go both ways. Like, you know what? I appreciate you sitting here driving us around and holding our bags when we go shopping.
You're getting personal.
And
wow.
I'm just saying that for a friend. A friend of mine said that once.
You saying it for a friend?
I'm saying it for a
okay,
friend.
tell your friend to call me so we can chit chat.
And it's not just about the presidents, right? Or
No,
these
it's
high
not.
figures.
It's not.
There's others. We got some other figures we want to talk about, but think about people like Magic Johnson and Cookie.
Ooh.
Now we're talking about. You want to talk about some difficult times?
They're still high profile, not as much as they used to be, but yeah.
But Magic will tell you that he could not have gone through what he went through without Cookie.
And this is in
the bit, and this is in the
beginning stages. Well, not
the
beginning,
midst
but,
of betrayal.
Oh yeah, I guess so, huh? Yeah.
They found a way through that, right? So sometimes, even in the midst of your darkest times, God does His best work, and
Amen.
it takes a special person to go through what Cookie and Magic went through. But on top of that, when it's all said and done, I'm sure that behind closed doors with her girls and family, whatever, she has some choice words.
Maybe not.
But what shows up is how what stands out to me is how you show up through the years, through the days, through the difficult times. And I believe that there's lessons there for all of us when it comes to how am I supposed to honor my spouse. Even when I'm angry with you, when I'm so upset with you, when I feel betrayed and hurt by you.
The thing about Cookie that I really like too is she didn't wither away. She stood there. She stood her ground. She advocated for herself. She gave her perspective, you know.
Yes, she did.
She was like, okay, I mean, let's go, you know. So shout out to her because, man, it's bad enough when privately I'm betrayed, but now publicly, and
I'm ridiculed
but not only was I betrayed, but now you didn't got something and potentially put us in harm. So, I mean, shout out to Cook. I ain't playing with you.
Well, I mean, because this isn't a story about.
No, and it's not. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's not about pretending that the pain didn't happen.
No, not at all.
But it's about how are we going to face this together.
She took her vows very seriously.
She did.
She did.
But it was like together. That word is just there with me. It's like together we will stand like an intertwined rope. Now it's and for this couple right here, I think it really truly, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen for the others by no means, but I will say this: when we talk about you get 3 strands and when you intertwine them, it's biblical. Where you take a 3-strand rope and you intertwine them, it makes it that much stronger. And when you talk about Cookie, Magic, and God, that is one of the strongest bonds out there. But they continue. Magic continued to talk about how his wife held him down, how she lifted him up. Cookie talked about how she was pissed off, upset, but she was standing by her man.
But the respect that she showed him through that too, because I know
Right.
some
It would've been
less.
easy.
It could have been very, very easy.
It could have been Real Housewives of the Lakers before there was even a show.
It was a whole show. But you're absolutely correct though. And she never lost the respect for him. I don't know, she might have cussed him out behind closed doors, which would have been her prerogative. But she showed up. She still showed up. She stood right by him, like you said. And never made it like a punchline about, their life or whatever. She maintained dignity, as did he, because he was very remorseful. A lot of people say, oh, that's only because he got slipped up or whatever. We don't know that. We love to say stuff as folk looking in. You know what I mean? But okay, I'm done.
No. I mean, that's real, but it's one of those things too. It's like, and these are rhetorical questions that we're posing to everybody as well. So whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us in your car or on a walk or whatever, pause and ask yourself, what would I be able to honor, praise, support? Do I? Am I that person that could honor them? Not in like this extreme situation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But even just like through the difficult times, am I prepared? Am I built to actually, and if I'm not built like this, am I willing to actually undergo the transformation to become that individual that I would want to stand in the gap for me, that I would want to honor me? Am I willing to honor my spouse as well?
I mean, yeah, because you better honor me. That's all I'm saying.
I do.
It's gonna be some problems.
Right. But there's some other folks, right? Like Samuel L. Jackson.
I love him.
At the time. And they're both public figures.
Yeah.
And they don't cast a shadow. I don't think they cast a shadow on each other either.
No. I mean, I don't think that either. One thing that I love about these men, how they show reverence to their wives, to their brides, of just, it's like a lot of people, you always remember who's on the podium, but you never really remember all the time who got them there or who stood there with them while they did their thing. And, what they say, behind every great man is a more amazing woman.
I'll accept that.
But I'm just saying, we always think about, like, we'll think about the Denzel, and we'll think about, you said Samuel and Barack or whatever, of course, and then their wives' names are always, I don't know, I want to say secondary in parentheses, everybody except for probably Michelle, but we never think about, and these are not people who they just got married. They've been married for a long time. They got some years on them, and they've been in front doing movies or politics or whatever it is, you know,
Business.
these high
'Cause
profile,
there's icons,
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, look at Bill and Melinda Gates, right? I mean, okay, no, that's
I
not
was
an
like,
example.
no, they're not together anymore,
No.
but they're still kept it cohesive to where they still had the foundation.
But I was gonna say, but like Melinda's name didn't really, for what she's doing and what she's standing for now, it was always, before she was always like Bill Gates' wife. You know, now it's ex-wife, but she's doing some pretty amazing things as well. But what I really like about some of these examples, and it's not just limited to the Jacksons, you know, Samuel L. and
I was
LaTanya.
like, wait, how did Joe and Catherine get in this? No, I'm playing.
No, but I'm talking about this couple. It's just like when a lot of times, too often in a marriage, when one person has a dream, the other person's dreams and aspirations go by the wayside. And that's not the case. These two have a tendency to, they're both running their own race, but they support each other in that process as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like us. I mean, let's just be honest. Like Married into Crazy. Married into Crazy was my dream. Married into Crazy was, you know, like my creative baby, if you will.
Be honest.
And I dragged her into it.
If it wasn't for Lovey, y'all, I promise y'all would not know who I was.
But
Wouldn't see me, wouldn't hear my voice.
But you grew into it.
Did I?
And people thoroughly enjoy your input. And
I don't know, but okay.
You always say that. She always says that. Come on, hey, somebody say something in the comments that's actually going to be endearing and lift her
nothing, y'all.
Anyway,
if you say something wrong and hurt my feelings, it's gonna be a wrap.
I keep telling her to quit reading the comments.
You just told them to say something in the comments.
Yeah, the team will tell us. Our team will let us know what's positive.
Okay.
Because she'll be all up in the DMs and then try to hit you back. Like, what'd you mean when you said?
No, I won't. I promise I won't.
She's gonna say
Anyway,
it to me. That's why
I
she
will
won't.
say it to Lovey, but
no. But it's one of those things where marriage shouldn't. You know, we always talk about marriage shouldn't require you to shrink. But it's one of those things where these platforms that people have, use it to actually lift up your spouse. Whatever platform it is that you have right now, it could be, you could be a state worker. You could be, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a janitor or if you are the CEO of the organization. Where you go, people should know. It's like, hey man, I like that shirt you're wearing. Really, you like this? My wife picked it out. She's got great taste. You know, she's pretty amazing. People know that my wife dresses me. Anytime
only when he's looking cute. Sometimes I'm like, love, with you? No, I'm playing.
Yeah, then I blame it on my daughters. They said it was okay to leave the house like this.
It was all right.
No, but this is a thing where, like, what does it mean to truly honor your wife? What does it look like in your home, in your relationship? Have that conversation. Like, do you feel honored? Let me ask you, do you feel honored? Like,
oh, you're asking me personally?
Do you feel like I honor you and when I talk about you or when I reference you?
I do. I do. I do. I can honestly say that. I tell everybody, I'm like, you know what? Lovey might drive me crazy sometimes, but I know my husband loves me. I know that he loves me. Can you say the same?
I can. Okay. I do. Because
I was finna pinch him, y'all. No, but I'm honestly, I'm being very, very serious. I say that to anybody who'll listen. I know my husband loves me. I know he does.
And the feeling is mutual. I know that for a fact. You know, if you've ever been across from, and here's the telltale sign. When you are actually at a function and you're looking at each other, you know, you're having a conversation. I'm over here having a conversation. Snooks is across the room having a conversation over there. And then, you know, we look across the room and we see each other and we just smile. Yeah,
we might make some faces or do something silly.
Yeah,
but I mean, for
more
the most
times than
part,
not, we're doing something silly, like sticking our tongues out at each other. But I can't tell you how many times I've been told by other people, they come to us like, they're like, I just love you and your wife's relationship. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Mm-hmm. She's like, no. You don't understand. I pay attention to the way she looks at you.
Was I drinking that day? No, I'm playing.
And she might have been smoking or something, but
okay.
She was in daze. No, she don't even smoke. But no, but it's just that alone. I mean, and when those comments are made, it makes me feel so good. Not because, like, yes, that's my wife and she loves me and I'm this great guy. No, it's because, you know what? I know that God has blessed me.
I feel the same.
You know, we're talking about being equally yoked. But, I mean, there's questions that we want you to ask each other because if you're not there, or if you're like, I wonder how they feel about me. And if there's that thing, I mean, there's get into it now. Get into that conversation.
Yeah.
so you can start to build and grow towards that if you're not already there. And if you're there, like we feel like we're there, but we want to get better. There's always room to get better.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that I felt like this was years ago after the year 5 fiasco, year 4 fiasco.
Get it straight.
There was a guy who I worked with, and I would talk about Lovey, and he goes, you know what? He goes, I just love how you talk about your husband. And I said, you do? He goes, yeah, you can honestly tell that you love him, because you always, when you talk about him, you just start smiling, and you're, like I'm telling some story or whatever that happened or whatever. He's like, but your face lights up and you start smiling or whatever. And I was like, wow, I never really noticed that, or I don't know if I could notice it. But I told him, I said, it is funny that you say that, because he talked about his wife a lot. And he always talk about how like she's like, he goes, I know I married up because she's head and shoulders above me, blah, 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 whatever. And he just talked about her. And he always had these funny little stories or whatever. But his name was Chad. But I never forgot that when he told me that. And it made me start paying attention to kind of how I talked about you. Not in a bad way, but like.
It's on record. I'm just saying.
But it made me think about, like I said, how I talked about you. But then I really started listening to how other people talked about their person. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't always like, oh, Lovey, he's so. Because there were times I'm like, get your brother.
I can see that, girl.
Get your brother. Get your brother. That's all I'm saying. Get him. Okay. But that's not something that, because first of all, I can't tell everybody everything. But the fact that he said that to me, I was like, okay, it's genuine. It wasn't fake. It wasn't like I was looking for someone to compliment our relationship or whatever.
And this isn't just about us. I mean, this is stuff that we're talking about other couples that we've witnessed, right? That we've identified. Mm-hmm. And look, we can talk about what's on the other side, the opposite side of the coin.
We don't need to.
I don't think we should. I'm just going to say there's the Will and Jadas out there. We don't know the full story. We really don't. They have publicly stated that they live their lives a little differently than most. They had an alternative lifestyle. I don't know the full story. I don't expect I ever will. And I don't, to be honest with you, I don't even care.
You used to, because you used to be in love with Jada.
I'm going to put all my business out there. That's okay. That's all right. No, but until I found she was crazy, I'm like, ooh, no, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. We're not talking about crazy.
I'm just playing.
I'm not saying she was compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding.
No, they're different. They live their lives differently,
but they have boundaries,
and that's okay.
And they had certain boundaries that were different than our boundaries. And I'm not saying that. I'm going to say it's just different, right? I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's different. And sometimes we like to vilify these other individuals that are different from us. Exactly. I don't know what they're about per se, other than what, the narrative that media tries to paint. But I will say it's not a direction or a model by which I would want to use as a rubric for what I think is the kind of marriage that we want. Mm-hmm. Somebody else might be watching me like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. And you know what? I say, if that's what you agree upon, then go for it. But I've got some questions that I want all of us to think about, reflect upon. And if any of these questions resonate with you, then use them. Sit down, have a conversation. During your State of the Union, when you come together to have a conversation, talk about these things. So, look, does my spouse feel more secure or more anxious after talking to me? Do I speak about my spouse with honor when they are not present?
Do I act like I'm married when they're not present?
Amen. Have I thanked my spouse for their unseen labor? That's kind of like speaking back to,
have you thanked me? I'm playing.
Are our boundaries clear to us, but not necessarily the public? It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. Are our boundaries that we agreed upon clear to us? How do we repair after conflict? Right? So do we repair? Do we come together after conflict, or do we merely move on without resolving any of the issues or the challenges that we're facing? And here's one that I really want us to reflect upon. Am I protecting my marriage, or am I protecting my ego?
That's a big one for you men.
Oh, really? For us men. Okay. Here's one. Do I want my spouse to change, Or am I willing to become a partner in that change as well? Not meaning that, is it something like, do I need her to change? Or am I recognizing the fact that as much as I really want her to change, I also acknowledge the fact that I need to change as well. And that's a big one.
That's a huge.
Because that was us.
That's huge. I don't even want to just say that was us because it was us, but that's a lot of couples who the change. They need to change. They need to change. He need to change. She need to change.
I don't need coaching. He need coaching. That's why I want us to come. So go ahead, work your magic. Work on him. Tell him something, Lovey.
Exactly. And so, I mean, and that's funny that you even bring that up because so many times when I won't say we specifically, but so many times when couples go to coaching or counseling, they go, one or both go with the idea that the other person is the one with the problem and they're the ones that need to change.
And this is great. And this, as much as we say that we wanted to become the couple that we needed when we were going through stuff, recognize that we're not living in a silo. We don't discuss case. There's confidentiality in everything that we do from Married Into Crazy.
No, I'm not even talking about just our couple.
No, but I'm saying, there's confidentiality there. But we have within our circle of people, because it's almost like, okay, well, who do you go to? Who does a pastor talk to when they don't want to talk to other pastors? You need trusted individuals.
Somebody, yeah.
And so we actually end up, I'm not saying I'm a pastor, but we have within our network.
He think he a pastor. He always preaching.
We've got LCSWs that we hang out with and that we trust. We're not talking about stuff, but we can say that, you know what, we feel comfortable. We have LMFTs that we talk with. There's other coaches that are within our circle, right, that we chat with, that we talk to, that we feel like we can actually unwind to. So some of the things that we're sharing with you, this isn't just us. This isn't just like, oh, that's just their perspective. No, these are things that come up in conversation for us. It's like, how do we deal with these things? How do we make sure that we're lifting each other up? How do we make sure that when we enter a room, we brighten it and we're not darkening it?
We got MSWs.
Oh, I forgot her acronym. I forgot her letters. My bad. We did the LCSW, the LMFTs, the coaches. Forgot the MSW.
I'm playing. But listen, anyway, and we talked about couples and honoring and what have you. I just want to say that, again, the reason why this came up, I thought it was important, and it was so touching to me about the way that Minister Farrakhan honored First Lady Mother Khadijah, the heartfelt. I mean, I felt it through the screen. Never met these people before, but I felt it. And that's something that I feel like we all need to make sure that we're living that life so that our person can feel the same way. Mm-hmm. I want to be honored. So in my wanting to be honored, I need to be living the best life, giving the respect, showing the loyalty, having the gratitude, doing the things, loving my husband, being supportive, doing all those things that I can do to help him be the best that he can be, which in turn benefits me. You know what I'm saying? It's never just about the one person.
Honor him with your body too. Like your mind might be telling you no, but your body. No.
Anyway, okay. But that was, just thinking about that. There's a lot of takeaways, but for me, how are you honoring or showing honor to your person?
Right. And we're going to leave it right there. So if you enjoyed this conversation, you got something from it, it made you think, you got some food for thought, share it. Put it out there on the internet. Share it with your friends. But most importantly, what you can do for us is wherever you're listening to it, you go and you leave a comment, right? If you have the opportunity to leave some stars and to like it and support us, do that. We're not asking you for money. We're asking you for, a few seconds to go and put some stars on there, put a comment on, and share it with your friends. Mm-hmm. Increase the discoverability so we can have this conversation and somebody else can benefit from it as well.
Yep.
So we appreciate you, and until the next time,
be blessed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Married Into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.